In the quiet village of Umurize, where the river curved like a serpent in sleep, there lived a fisherman named Obiora. He was the kind of man whose presence calmed even the wildest storms. Tall, dark, and sinewy from years of rowing against river currents, his eyes held the silence of deep water, and his smile, though rare, could warm a room. Obiora had no family. The river was his inheritance and companion. Each day he rose before the first cockcrow, cast his net, and returned by dusk with his canoe heavy with fish. Yet, despite his modest fortune and good heart, he lived alone. Many said it was because he waited for a kind of love that only existed in stories. Perhaps they were right. One mist-wrapped morning, Obiora rode further down the river than he ever had. Something in the air, something unspoken, pulled him. And there, by the edge of the forest, where the river whispered to the trees, he found her. She lay beneath a fig tree, wrapped in a torn white cloth, her hair damp and tangled. Her skin was pale from cold, her lips trembling. She looked up at him, her eyes wide with fear and sadness. Obiora knelt beside her. "Are you hot?" he asked gently. She stared for a moment, then shook her head. Her voice, when it came, was soft and barely audible. "My name is Nnanna." He carried her into his canoe, wrapped her in his cloth, and paddled her home. Obiora nursed her back to health. He fed her boiled yam, warmed her by the fire, and gave her space to breathe. In time, she began to speak more, but never about her past. When Obiora asked where she came from, she would lower her eyes and whisper, "Please, let me forget if I must ever be happy again." He stopped asking. Days turned to weeks. The girl who once trembled by the riverside now smiled at dawn. She swept his compound, cooked without needing to be told, and sometimes sang songs in a language Obiora didn't recognize. She was graceful, almost too graceful. Her every movement carried a fluid elegance, as though she was born in water and taught to walk on land. Obiora fell in love. He didn't know when exactly it happened. Maybe it was the way she smiled when he returned from fishing, or how she watched the stars, her eyes full of longing. One evening he told her. She didn't answer at first, just reached for his hand and held it tightly. "If I must stay," she said, "never ask me about the water, and never bring me near it again." He agreed. But one thing puzzled Obiora. No matter how he prepared it, Nnanna never touched fish. Fried, grilled, spiced, or stewed, she would pick at the sides and quietly push the fish away. At first, he teased her. Then he grew curious. "Why won't you eat it?" he asked one day. Nana's face tightened. "Please," she said softly, "just don't make me." Obiora let it go, but something inside him stirred with unease. Strange things began happening after that. Children said they saw a woman brushing her hair by the river at night. Fishermen found their nets torn as if by unseen hands. The river became restless. Its waves slapped the shores even when the wind was still. Obiora began to dream of drowning, of voices chanting in strange tongues, of glowing eyes watching him from beneath the water. One evening, a wise old woman from the village, Mama Ifeoma, visited him. "She is not like us," the old woman said after watching Nnanna from afar. "The spirits are watching. You brought something from the water, something that does not belong here." Obiora stood protectively. "She's just a girl. She has suffered." The old woman sipped her wine and shook her head. "Not everything beautiful is meant to be touched." That night, Obiora woke to find Nnanna gone. Panic set in. He searched the compound, then the road, and finally the river bank. There she was, standing by the water, her feet not touching the ground, her body glowing faintly. under the moonlight. "Nana," he called. She turned slowly, her face filled with sadness. "You weren't supposed to see me like this." "Who are you?" She lowered her eyes. "I didn't lie. I only hid what would scare you." She sat by the edge of the river and wept. "I was born beneath the water, a daughter of the river goddess. I was meant to serve in the marine realm, to never know freedom or love. But I wanted more. I escaped. And when I stumbled into your world, I didn't expect to find kindness. But you," Obiora stared, heart pounding. "So you see, he wants you back?" She nodded. "He will never stop looking. But I don't want to go back. I've tasted the sun. I've found love." Obiora knelt beside her. "Then stay. Whatever comes, we face it together." But the river had already heard. That night, the wind howled like a mourning widow. The river swirled without rain. The village dogs barked without reason. Then it happened. The river split open. From its depths rose three glowing maidens, their hair flowing like seaweed, their eyes white with fury. And behind them came a towering figure, the river goddess herself, beautiful, terrible. She pointed at Nnanna. "You belong to me." Obiora stepped forward. "She is mine now." "You dare challenge the river?" "I dare love her." The goddess raised her hand, but paused. She looked at Nnanna. "You would abandon eternity for this man?" Nnanna nodded, tears streaming down her face. "He gave me joy the ocean never did." The goddess studied them, and then her voice softened. "Very well. You may remain, but if you ever touch my water again, even a single drop, you return to me forever." And with that, she and her maidens vanished into the river. The silence that followed was heavier than any sound. From that day forward, Nnanna avoided the river. Obiora stopped fishing and took to farming. He built a well far from the banks. He adapted it, and sacrificed because love, he learned, demands more than flowers and sweet words. It demands change. They married under the same tree where he had first found her, and in time they had a daughter whom they named Oluebube. Miracle. Years passed. Obiora grew a little older, a little grayer. Nnanna still hummed her strange songs at night, always avoiding the rains, never stepping too close to streams. She smiled, she danced, but never near water. One evening, as the shadows of dusk crept into the corners of their home, Nnanna sat quietly with Obiora in their room. The air had been warm just moments ago, filled with the scent of firewood smoke and the sound of distant crickets. But then, a sudden chill swept through the room, unnatural and biting. Nnanna shivered, her hands trembling as she clutched Obiora's arm. "They are back again," she whispered, her voice cracking. "Who?" Obiora asked, alarmed, scanning the room. "Who is back again?" He turned around quickly, his eyes darting to every corner, but saw no one. And yet the air grew thicker, dense, heavy, like water pressing down on their chests. The stillness in the room became eerie. Their voices seemed to vanish into the walls, swallowed whole, like the house itself was holding its breath. "Where is Chinwe?" Obiora suddenly asked. "Where is her daughter?" "She is with me," came a chilling voice, not from outside, but from within the cold, cracked wall. Obiora's heart thumped violently as the voice continued, deep and commanding. "You broke our agreement. You took what was never yours. I warned you. She must never come near what belongs to me. I told you she must never touch my water. But you defied me, and now I have come." Then the wall trembled. From its surface, three maidens emerged, graceful and terrifying. Their beauty was blinding. Skin like ivory mist, eyes sparkling like stars reflected in a still river. Obiora could not hold their gaze. It burned too bright. They drifted like smoke across the room, parting like curtains. And then she appeared, the Queen Mother. She stepped forward from between them, glowing in her majestic light. Her gown was woven from what seemed like light itself, pale, white and flowing endlessly as though 1,000 winds blew from within her. Her feet hovered just above the ground. Her face held neither anger nor mercy, only the ancient stillness of the deep riverbed. "But I never broke my promise, Queen Mother," Nnanna said, voice shaking. Her hands clutched tightly at her chest. "You warned me to stay away from your water and I did. I never stepped near it. I never did." The Queen Mother's voice came like 100 rippling waves in one. "You are no different from your daughter. She carries your blood. She walks in your shadow. The day she stepped into my water, that day you also did. You were warned and still you allowed her. My law is clear. The blood that offends shall return to the source." Obiora dropped to his knees, clutching Nnanna by her feet as tears welled in his eyes. His voice broke with desperation. "Please, please don't take her from me. I love her now. I swear on my own breath, I will honor your law. I'll never go near your water. Never again. She is part of me now. She gave me life, gave me peace. Please, spare her, please." But the goddess did not speak. One of the maidens, expressionless, raised her pale arm and stretched it toward Nnanna. A single drop of water formed in her palm, glowing, heavy, and she gently flicked it toward Nnanna. As the drop touched Nnanna's foot, it began. She gasped. Her skin shimmered like the surface of a lake under moonlight. Slowly her feet dissolved into puddles of clear water. The liquid crept upward. Her calves, her thighs, her waist, her entire being liquefying, merging into a pool that soaked silently into the earth. Her eyes never left Obiora's, even as they too dissolved into tears. "No," Obiora cried out. "No, Nnanna." And then she was gone, along with the Queen Mother, along with the maidens. The air returned to stillness, but a different kind, a stillness soaked in grief. The room was quiet again, yet empty, heavy. The echoes of loss vibrated through the walls, like a song no one would ever sing again. Obiora remained frozen for a long time. When he finally opened his eyes, the house was empty. No wife, no daughter, no voices, just silence. And from that day on, Obiora became a shadow of the man he once was. Every evening he sat in front of his quiet, lonely home, staring into nothing, waiting for sounds that never returned. The villagers sometimes passed by, offering him food, words, company, but he barely heard them. In his ears, only one voice echoed over and over again, the voice of the old woman from years ago, the one he had dismissed as mad. "Not everything that is beautiful is worth keeping.